Imagine waking up this morning, pouring your coffee, opening your analytics dashboard, and realizing that 68% of your website traffic simply vanished overnight.
Oh, man. Just the ultimate nightmare scenario.
Right, just gone. No server outage, no massive penalty notification, just
Yeah.
totally gone.
Yeah.
And for the vast majority of businesses and publishers operating today, on June 22, 2026, you really don't have to imagine this scenario.
No, you don't. Because, according to the newly released SEO Daily Technology Report that we are unpacking for you, this is just the documented, undeniable reality of the landscape right now.
It's wild. Welcome to another deep dive. Our mission for this discussion today is pure survival.
Honestly, survival mode.
We are diving deep into the SEO Daily Technology Report published on this exact date, June 22, 2026.
Fresh off the press.
Exactly. And the goal here is to synthesize this massive upheaval in digital visibility. Like, we need to figure out how you can actually operate when traditional search engines have completely morphed into AI answer engines.
Right. We've got a huge stack of data to get through.
Oh, yeah. We're covering everything from the mechanics of generative engine optimization, or GEO, to the hardening of core web vitals and this massive software arms race happening right now.
It's a lot to cover.
Okay, let's unpack this. I want to start by dissecting that 68% number I mentioned, because the SparkToro study released this month puts a terrifyingly clear lens on it.
Terrifying is definitely the word.
They found that 68% of Google searches are now zero-click.
Wow.
Meaning if 100 people type a query into a search bar, 68 of them get their answer and leave without ever visiting a single website.
It is a staggering number to confront. We are looking at a fundamental rewiring of how human beings retrieve and consume information on the internet.
Yeah, totally.
And you're hitting on the core anxiety of webmasters everywhere right now. The metrics they've relied on for, 2 decades are suddenly irrelevant.
Irrelevant, because the underlying mechanism driving that drop is the complete dominance of AI overviews.
Right. When we dig into the report's breakdown of the search market as of right now, June 2026, Google's AI mode, that conversational generative interface, it now controls roughly 90% of the entire search ecosystem.
90%. It's no longer an experimental feature.
Exactly. It's not a beta opt-in anymore. It is the default layer of the internet.
Yeah.
And within that specific AI process segment, the zero-click rate skyrockets to an astonishing 93%.
93%. That is just the nail in the coffin for a very specific type of business model.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you relied on informational top-of-funnel queries, people asking how to remove a red wine stain, or what is the best CRM for small business?
Right, those classic queries.
Yeah, and if you monetize those visits through display ads or affiliate links, that top 3 ranking you fought so hard for is practically worthless now.
Yep. You can be sitting in position 1 for the classic organic links, but the user never even scrolls past the AI-generated answer to see you.
Exactly. They just get the answer and bounce.
What's fascinating here is that this is the crux of the paradigm shift. The architectural goal of optimization in mid-2026 is no longer about securing position 1 in a linear list.
Right. It's not a list anymore.
No. The new goal is earning a citation inside that AI overview paragraph.
Because if the user's intent is purely informational, the AI is just going to satisfy that intent immediately.
Precisely. The only way you capture any value, whether that's brand awareness, a sliver of click-through traffic, or even just trust, is if the language model explicitly names your brand and links to your page as the source of its synthesis.
It makes me think about the psychological shift in how we expect the internet to serve us now.
How so?
Well, the old Google, like pre-2026 Google, it functioned essentially as a highly efficient digital phone book.
Right.
You needed to know how to fix a leaky faucet, and Google handed you a list of 10 hardware store blogs.
Yeah.
It said, here are your options. Now you go read them, you evaluate the best one, you extract the instructions.
Yeah, you, the user, did the cognitive labor.
Exactly. But the AI mode we were dealing with on June 22, 2026 is not a phone book. It's like an overzealous concierge at a high-end hotel.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
You ask about the leaky faucet, and the concierge doesn't hand you a list of plumbers. The concierge runs out to the hardware store, buys the wrench, watches 3 tutorials, comes back, and just fixes the faucet for you.
They just do the errand for you.
Right. So if the concierge is doing everything, how does a website survive?
That's the million-dollar question.
The only way the plumber or the hardware store stays in business is if they are the one teaching the concierge how to fix the faucet in the first place. and making sure the concierge gives them the credit.
I love that concierge analogy because it highlights the necessity of the source material. AI models do not generate knowledge, they synthesize existing knowledge.
Right, they're just reading what we write.
Exactly. The concierge is terrified of hallucinating, giving the guest bad advice and ruining the plumbing. Therefore, it desperately needs to cite authoritative sources.
Makes sense.
The report shows that websites failing to adapt to this new concierge model are experiencing those severe traffic declines we mentioned. But the sites that are securing their citations are seeing a massive increase in what the report calls entity authority.
Entity authority, which means we have to completely change how we communicate with the machine.
A total overhaul.
If the user isn't clicking, we aren't tracking clicks. We are tracking if the AI whispered our name while it handed the user the answer.
Yeah, share of voice.
And that requires a totally different technical approach. We aren't really doing SEO anymore. According to the report on June 22, 2026, the non-negotiable standard is GEO Generative Engine Optimization.
The transition from SEO to GEO is profound because it shifts the focus from optimizing for indexation to optimizing for language model comprehension.
Optimizing for comprehension.
Right. The report references a Gartner prediction from a few years ago that search volume would drop by 25%.
Oh yeah, I remember that. People panicked.
Well, that is our documented reality right now. To offset that, developers are rapidly adopting a new protocol, the llms.txt file.
llms.txt.
Yes, and it's currently sitting on about 5 to 15% of major websites.
Okay, wait. Let's unpack llms.txt because this is where a lot of veteran developers are rolling their eyes right now.
I know, I've seen the pushback.
I've seen the chatter too. People are saying, come on, llms.txt is just robots.txt with a trendy new name to sound cool for the AI era.
Yeah, that's the common critique.
We've used robots.txt since the 1990s to tell crawlers where to go. Why do we need a new text file?
It is a valid skepticism at first glance, but conflating the two is a really dangerous technical mistake.
How so?
They serve entirely different functions based on how different algorithms process data. Think of robots.txt purely as an access control mechanism.
Like a bouncer.
Exactly. It's the bouncer at the door of your server. It tells a crawler like Googlebot, you are permitted to read the public blog, but you are forbidden from crawling the admin checkout pages.
Right.
It doesn't tell the crawler what is important. It only dictates what is permissible.
So robots.txt is basically drawing boundary lines on a map.
Precisely. Now contrast that with llms.txt. Large language models, the architecture behind ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and Google's AI. Overviews, they have limited context windows and immense processing costs.
They're expensive to run.
Very. So when they crawl a site in real time to generate an answer, they do not want to parse through heavy HTML navigation menus, footer widgets, and marketing fluff just to find the core fact.
Nobody wants to read the fluff.
Exactly. The llms.txt file acts as a highly curated priority map specifically designed for AI consumption.
Okay.
It points the language model directly to clean, markdown formatted factual documents.
Wow.
You are actively telling the AI, if someone asks a question about my product or my industry, do not waste your compute power scraping my homepage. Read this specific text file first. It contains the highest density, most accurate information you need to generate your answer.
Ah, so instead of just saying, don't look at the junk, you are actively handing the AI the filet mignon on a silver platter.
That's exactly it.
You're saying, eat this pure data, it will make your answers better, and it will save you processing tokens.
That processing token aspect is absolutely critical. AI companies spend billions on compute power.
Right. It's their biggest expense.
So if you make it computationally cheaper and faster for their models to extract your data compared to your competitors' data, the algorithm is naturally going to favor citing you.
Because you're the path of least resistance.
Yes. And Google officially validated this approach. In their AI optimization guide for developers published this month, June 2026, they explicitly endorse GEO practices and strongly recommend the use of structured data to feed these models.
Okay, let's dive into structured data, because the report highlights a massive resurgence in schema markup, specifically JSON-LD. But the motivation has entirely flipped, hasn't it?
It completely flipped.
Like a few years ago, marketers were obsessed with FAQ schema. You'd wrap your frequently asked questions in JSON-LD code purely as a visual trick.
Oh, yeah. The rich snippets.
Exactly. The goal was to dominate the visual real estate on the search results page to get those cool little drop-down boxes so your listing was twice the size of everyone else's.
It was a neat trick.
It was all about tricking the human eye to get a click. But the report says FAQ schemas are back in a massive way on June 22, 2026, and it has absolutely nothing to do with visual-rich snippets.
Nothing at all.
So why is everyone suddenly coding their FAQs in JSON-LD again?
To understand why, we have to look at how an AI parses language versus how it parses code.
Okay.
When an LLM reads a natural language paragraph, it has to use probabilistic reasoning to determine what the subject is, what the predicate is, and what the actual fact is.
There's a lot of guessing involved.
Exactly. There is always a margin of ambiguity. JSON-LD removes that ambiguity by organizing data into explicit key-value pairs.
Yeah.
It is an entity SEO approach. You are defining the exact people, places, organizations, and concepts on your page in machine-readable code.
So it's black and white for the machine.
Yes. If you use FAQ schema, you are feeding the AI an exact question entity mapped directly to an exact answer entity.
That's so efficient.
When Perplexity or Google's AI mode is trying to construct a response in 200 milliseconds, it will pull from the rigidly defined JSON-LD data long before it tries to extract meaning from a sprawling 2,000-word unstructured blog post.
Because you are removing the cognitive load from the machine.
You're speaking its native language.
And that ties directly into how we measure success now. We aren't looking at click-through rates. The report highlights that the new key performance indicators for June 2026 are share of voice and entity authority.
Those are the metrics to watch.
But here is where the mechanical optimization hits a wall, I think. Formatting your content with llms.txt and pristine JSON-LD code tells the AI what your information is. But it absolutely does not tell the AI why it should trust you over the thousands of other developers who also know how to write perfectly formatted code.
Which brings us to the hardest, most ungameable aspect of the June 2026 search landscape.
Let's hear it.
The absolute hardening of EAT signals: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
Right. Because for the longest time, SEO professionals treated EEAT as a soft concept.
It was very squishy.
It was just a set of guidelines for human quality raters. The advice was always, make sure your author has a nice bio picture and a paragraph saying they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it was largely cosmetic.
But the SEO Daily Technology Report is definitive on this. As of June 22, 2026, EET metrics are hard algorithmic ranking signals.
Very hard signal.
And this is especially unforgiving in YMYL categories: your money or your life, finance, health, safety, legal advice.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the liability for the AI engines is simply too high right now.
The legal liability.
Yes. Think about it. If a traditional search engine links to a bad medical blog, the user blames the blog.
Right.
But if Google's AI overview directly generates a paragraph telling a user to ingest a toxic substance based on a hallucination from a low-quality site, the user blames Google.
That's a PR nightmare. And a lawsuit.
The legal and reputational risks are astronomical. Because of that risk, the AI is retreating to safety.
It makes perfect sense.
It shows a heavy, documented bias toward established brand content over technically perfect pages from unknown sources. The algorithms are actively hunting for what the report terms verifiable author authority.
Verifiable author authority. Let's break down how that actually functions, because it reminds me of applying for a mortgage.
Oh, I like this. Go on.
Well, if you walk into a bank today on June 22, 2026, and ask for a $500,000 loan, you can't just slide a piece of paper across the desk that says, I have a great job and I always pay my debts. Trust me.
Right. They'd laugh you out of the room.
Exactly. The loan officer doesn't care what you say about yourself on your own piece of paper. They want to see your W-2s. They want to pull your credit score from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax.
They need third-party validation.
They cross-reference your digital footprint to prove you have a multi-year track record of reliability. So Google's AI is essentially demanding a digital credit check on every single author and brand before it allows them to be cited as a source in an AI overview.
That analogy perfectly illustrates the mechanism behind the algorithm. The AI really doesn't care what your About Us page says anymore.
It's meaningless to them.
It is looking at the broader knowledge graph. When the AI evaluates an author, it is cross-referencing external data points.
Like what?
Well, does this author have a verified LinkedIn profile with established industry connections? Have they been cited in peer-reviewed journals? Have their quotes appeared in major digital PR publications?
Ah, I see.
They have a footprint on Wikidata. The machine requires proof that other humans trust you before the machine will trust you.
Which means the old tactic of spinning up a niche website, buying an expired domain, and publishing 50 technically perfect AI-written articles about heart health is completely dead.
Dead in the water.
You can have the best JSON LD on the internet, but the AI is going to look at your site, run that digital credit check, realize you have zero external footprint, and just ignore you.
Yep. It will cite the Mayo Clinic instead every time.
Even if the Mayo Clinic's website is slower and has worse keyword optimization, purely because the Mayo Clinic has unassailable entity authority.
The strategic implication of this is massive for marketing departments. It means that as of June 2026, technical SEO and digital public relations are functionally the exact same job.
That is wild to think about. SEO and PR merged.
You cannot rank without PR anymore. If you are not actively building a brand entity that generates mentions, unlinked citations, and press coverage on other platforms, your on-page optimization will just hit an invisible ceiling.
Okay, let's play this out. Let's say a business has done the hard work. They have a brilliant digital PR strategy. Their authors have perfect digital credit scores.
Okay, perfect scenario.
They are recognized entities in the knowledge graph. And their development team has perfectly mapped the site using llms.txt and structured data. The AI concierge desperately wants to cite them.
Everything is aligned.
But none of that matters if the AI crawler trips over its own feet trying to load the website.
Ah, yes. The technical gatekeeper.
If the data isn't delivered instantly, the AI will just move to the next trusted source. This brings us to the brutal reality of core web vitals in 2026. The need for absolute technical perfection.
Google has been turning the dial on core web vitals for years. But the 2026 adjustments are punitive.
Brutal.
We're no longer talking about speed as a tiebreaker between two equal pages. We're talking about speed as a primary gatekeeper.
Let's look at the raw numbers from the report, starting with LCP, largest contentful paint. This measures how fast the largest visual element on your screen loads.
Usually the hero image.
Right. For years, the threshold for a good score was 2.5 seconds. As of this year, they dropped it to 2.0 seconds.
Half a second is a lifetime in web dev.
So if your hero image takes 2.1 seconds to render, you fail. You are pushed into the needs improvement zone.
And shaving half a second off LCP is incredibly difficult for modern media-heavy enterprise sites. But LCP is just the beginning.
Yeah, that's the easy part.
The metric that is causing the most absolute devastation in the rankings right now is INP, interaction to next paint.
Here's where it gets really interesting. IMP replaced first input delay back in 2024, but the enforcement in 2026 is wreaking havoc.
Total havoc.
The report notes that pages with an INP above 300 milliseconds are experiencing ranking drops of approximately 31% on mobile.
Almost a third of their traffic gone.
A 31% traffic wipeout because your site was a fraction of a second too slow to respond? And the most shocking stat in this entire report, as of June 22, 2026, 43% of sites are actively failing the 200 millisecond INP threshold.
Unbelievable.
Almost half the internet is currently failing this test. Why is INP so incredibly difficult for developers to solve compared to the old speed metrics?
Because it fundamentally changes what is being measured. The old metric, first input delay, was a very narrow test.
You'd only look at the start, right?
Exactly. It only measured the very first interaction a user had with a page while it was loading. If the user clicked a link and the browser responded quickly, you pass.
It's easy enough.
But INP is drastically more demanding. It observes the latency of all click, tap, and keyboard interactions throughout the user's entire lifespan on that page, and it reports the single longest delay.
Wow. So it's not just the initial load.
Nope.
If a user is 3 minutes into reading an article, scrolls halfway down and clicks a simple accordion menu to read an FAQ, or clicks a size drop-down on an e-commerce product,
Yes.
INP is measuring the exact millisecond delay between their finger hitting the glass and the menu actually opening.
Yes. And the culprit behind poor INP is almost always complex JavaScript execution, blocking the browser's main thread.
Main thread blocking. Explain that for the non-developers listening.
Think of a phone's processor as a single highway lane. When a website relies heavily on JavaScript for tracking pixels, dynamic ads, or interactive elements, the browser has to download, parse, compile, and execute all that code.
Right. Traffic on the highway.
If the browser is busy executing a massive JavaScript task, a long task, that highway lane is blocked.
Okay.
If the user taps a button at that exact moment, The browser cannot paint the next frame until the JavaScript task finishes and clears the lane.
Ah, so that delay, that moment where the user taps and the screen feels frozen or unresponsive, that is what INP measures.
Exactly. And Google has drawn a hard line at 200 milliseconds for a good score and 300 milliseconds for a poor score.
It makes sense from Google's perspective, honestly.
How so?
If an AI overview links a user to your site, and the user taps a button and feels a half-second lag, it degrades the trust in the AI's recommendation.
That's a great point.
Google is protecting its own user experience by penalizing your sluggish code. The March 2026 core update proved this. The data shows that pages holding those rare visible position 1 spots have vastly superior core Web Vitals pass rates compared to pages sitting in position 9.
It's a direct differentiator now, not just a tiebreaker.
Which elevates the importance of technical SEO auditing from, a periodic health check to a daily operational necessity.
You have to monitor it constantly.
If you cannot diagnose exactly which line of JavaScript is blocking the main thread, you cannot fix your INP, and you will bleed traffic. The report highlights 2 tools that have become non-negotiable for diagnosing these specific rendering issues: Screaming Frog and JetOctopus.
Yeah, Screaming Frog has been the industry standard desktop crawler forever, but their 2026 update is wild.
I saw that they integrated AI.
They've integrated AI-powered insights that don't just list technical errors anymore. The AI automatically prioritizes the issues based on their potential traffic impact.
That saves so much time.
It tells you exactly which JavaScript bottleneck is costing you the most money. It's sitting at $290 a year for the paid license, which is a steal, though they still have the free tier for up to 500 URLs.
Yeah, Screaming Frog is brilliant for precise, controlled crawls. However, its limitation is that it relies on your local machine's hardware.
Right, your own laptop has to do the heavy lifting.
If you are auditing a massive enterprise site with millions of URLs, crawling and rendering JavaScript locally will quickly max out your CPU and memory.
Which is where the report positions JetOctopus as the necessary enterprise counterpart.
Because it's cloud-based.
Exactly. It scales to crawl millions of pages and analyze massive log files without tying up your local hardware. It allows technical SEOs to identify site-wide INP failures rapidly.
Okay, let's take a breath and survey the battlefield here. We have established the rules of engagement for June 22, 2026.
Let's recap them.
Rule 1. You must optimize for language models using GEO and llms.txt. Rule 2. You must build verifiable entity authority and digital PR to pass the EEAT credit check.
Absolutely essential.
Rule 3. You must deliver a technically flawless, sub-200 millisecond INP experience by unblocking your JavaScript.
Which is incredibly hard.
Managing this is just so complex, you cannot do this in an Excel spreadsheet anymore. How are actual marketing teams operationalizing this day to day?
Well, the operational reality is that it requires incredibly sophisticated software. We are witnessing a full-blown arms race in the SEO software industry.
An arms race, I like that.
The major platforms are fundamentally re-architecting their tools to track AI visibility rather than traditional search rankings, and it is actively reshaping how enterprise budgets are allocated.
The report breaks the software landscape down into 3 distinct battles. Let's start at the content creation level. Surfer SEO versus Clearscope.
Right, the content tools.
Surfer SEO is running around $89 a month for their essential plan. It takes a highly quantitative NLP-driven approach.
Very numbers-focused.
It uses natural language processing to analyze top-performing pages, identify semantic gaps, and give writers a strict numerical content score. It even integrates directly into AI writing tools now.
Surfer appeals heavily to volume-driven operations that want mathematical certainty that their keyword density and heading structures align with what the algorithm currently favors.
But then you look at Clearscope. According to the report, Clearscope is the preferred tool for editorial teams focused on high-authority, human-written content.
They have a totally different philosophy.
They aren't trying to game NLP algorithms. They are trying to ensure comprehensive topical coverage to support those EET signals we discussed.
Right, and both platforms have added AI search visibility metrics in 2026, so businesses have to choose which philosophy aligns with their brand.
But the real war, like the massive budget war, is happening among the all-in-one platform giants. Semrush versus the RAFs.
The battle between those two has defined the industry for a decade, honestly. But the integration of generative AI has polarized their offerings.
Semrush completely dominates the massive enterprise space right now. They are charging $299 a month for their Pro Plus tier.
It's a premium price tag.
They justify that price because they've rolled out this generative AI copilot. It's not just a dashboard anymore. The AI interprets your data, suggests strategic actions, and automates reporting across organic search, paid ads, and social media.
Semrush acts as a unified command center. If an agency is blending paid search workflows with organic visibility campaigns, the ability to manage everything within a single ecosystem creates massive efficiency gains at scale.
But Ahrefs isn't backing down. They're coming in at $129 a month for their Lite plan, and they remain the absolute gold standard for backlink intelligence.
Their link data is unmatched.
The report highlights that Ahrefs is updating its link index every 15 to 30 minutes for top domains. That velocity of data is insane.
It really is.
And to address the June 2026 reality, they just launched Brand Radar, which specifically tracks a brand's share of voice across AI platforms.
Ahrefs has always prioritized raw data velocity and index quality over dashboard features. For technical SEOs and digital PR teams who need to instantly identify toxic link patterns or track the immediate impact of a brand mention, Ahrefs' infrastructure is unparalleled.
But I want to introduce the third player, the rising star, highlighted in the report, because it forces us to look at this from a purely pragmatic perspective. SE ranking.
Ah, yes. SE ranking is making huge moves.
According to the report's market analysis, SE ranking is bridging the gap between enterprise features and practical utility in a very disruptive way. They offer a core plan for $129 a month.
Very competitive pricing.
It includes 2,000 tracked keywords, 100 AI prompts, and a dedicated SE visible module that actively tracks your brand mentions across ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini.
That visibility tracking is key right now.
But the feature that is blowing developers' minds is their MCP and API integration into AI coding tools like Claude and Cursor.
That API integration is a massive workflow shift. Let's explain how that functions in practice.
Yeah, go ahead.
A developer using Cursor, an AI-powered code editor, can use SE Ranking's API to pull real-time technical SEO data directly into their coding environment.
While they are coding.
Exactly. If the developer is rewriting a React component that might impact page load times, the AI can instantly cross-reference SE Rankings data to warn them if the new code will trigger an INP failure or break an essential JSON LD schema.
Wow.
It merges the SEO audit directly into the development pipeline.
Which is incredible. It prevents the SEO errors from ever being deployed in the first place.
Exactly. Proactive instead of reactive.
So if you are a mid-sized marketing team or an independent agency looking at the market right now, the report's analysis makes you really question the standard stack.
It definitely shakes things up.
Like, if I'm managing a team on June 22, 2026, and I don't need Semrush's paid ad management tools, why on earth would I pay $299 a month when SE ranking gives me more tracked keywords, deep API integrations, and direct AI visibility tracking for less than half the price?
It perfectly captures the current divide in the market, the enterprise ecosystem versus the pragmatic stack. Semrush charges a premium for unified convenience.
Right.
But the report indicates that for pure organic search teams hyper-focused on technical optimization and AI citation tracking, combining a tool like SE Ranking with the raw data power of Ahrefs has become the highly lethal, pragmatic combination for navigating 2026.
The software is finally reflecting the reality of the algorithm. Tools that track share of voice are cannibalizing tools that only track position 1.
Position 1 is a vanity metric now.
It really is. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? If you are prepping for a Q3 strategy meeting, or if you are staring at your declining analytics dashboard on this exact day, June 22, 2026, you have to pivot your entire philosophical approach to the web.
You have to adapt or die, basically.
You are no longer optimizing a web page for a search engine to rank. You are building an authoritative entity that an AI assistant actually wants to converse with, trust, and cite.
And achieving that requires breaking down the silos in your organization. Your developers must ensure absolute technical perfection, eliminating JavaScript bottlenecks to pass INP thresholds.
Right, get that speed up.
Your PR and communications team must establish verifiable, off-page author authority to satisfy the EEAT credit check.
The digital credit score.
And your content team must master llms.txt and structured JSON LD to feed the language models exactly what they crave.
When you synthesize all of that, it really makes you think.
This raises an important question, doesn't it?
I have a feeling I know where you're going with this.
We have spent this entire deep dive analyzing the mechanics of survival. We've talked about the requirement for enterprise-grade crawling tools, the necessity of complex llms.txt files, the demand for off-page PR validation, and the strict technical requirement of sub-200 millisecond rendering speeds.
A very high bar.
But there is a lingering implication in this June 2026 report that we have to acknowledge.
Okay, let's hear it.
If the AI engines controlling 90% of the market are heavily, almost exclusively, biased toward highly verifiable, established brand entities.
Yeah.
And if those engines require an incredibly expensive, technically flawless, constantly monitored web infrastructure just to be crawled effectively, what happens to the independent voices?
Oh, wow. The barrier to entry has become astronomical.
Exactly. What happens to the brilliant independent blogger working from a laptop? What happens to the bootstrap startup that can't afford a digital PR firm to build their entity authority?
They just get left behind.
What happens to the raw, unfiltered human voices trying to share a new idea without a massive corporate budget? If the concierge only ever recommends the biggest, most established, legally safe hardware store in town, how does the brilliant new plumber ever get a job?
They don't.
Are we actively engineering an internet where only the established corporate giants are allowed to have a share of voice?
That is the philosophical question we are all going to have to grapple with as we move forward. Because the X-ray machine of traditional SEO is broken, the clean lines of position 1, 2, and 3 are gone.
Completely gone.
We are navigating the murky waters of AI citations now, and the only way to survive is to understand exactly how the machine makes its decisions. We hope this breakdown gives you the clarity you need to adapt your strategies today. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the June 22, 2026 SEO Technology Report. Keep optimizing, keep adapting, and we'll see you on the next one.